Hey friends, and happy Monday. Oh my goodness, it has been a Monday over here. Ooh, we've got friends here. We've got Audra's ready. She's already here. Oh my goodness. We've got Carrie. Carrie, happy birthday. Thank you for spending part of your birthday with us. My goodness. And hello, Amy, one of our brand new design team members. Amy, I've been loving what you have been creating, and thank you so much for being here tonight. So, oh my goodness, it was a whirlwind of a weekend. My mother-in-law and my niece came to visit, and we spent lots of time socializing, and I woke up today just exhausted. Had a full day of work, lots of stuff going on, and so happy to be home creating. I had to kind of put it into high gear once I got home because I had a little bit less time than I normally do to get ready. So I think we're at a good spot though. Everything came together really quickly, so I'm like very excited about that. We will see how everything gets pulled together. Oh, Amy, you are so welcome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing tonight. So I have pulled the Tower Troupe stamp set. I've got it all ready to go. This is my first time diving in and using this set. So I will be doing it for the first time with you guys. And we are going to make kind of a scene card, and I don't really know how it's going to turn out because I have this idea in my head and it might be great. It might be a little but we're going to see. Hello, Christian. No big deal. We've got some bad weather in the Chicago area as well. My husband came home today and had a bunch of branches that he picked up in our backyard. And we also just got another storm that just ended maybe about 5 or 10 minutes ago. So it's like super wet outside, and also the humidity here was like absolutely awful today. Like, you walked outside, it felt like a sauna. I live in Illinois. It felt like that good old humid Florida heat. And it is not what I signed up for. So no worries about being in and out. Be safe. We had tornado warnings out by us. But we're going to be using the Tower Troupe stamp set, and I have an idea of how to make a scene card. And I think it's going to turn out pretty well, but you never know. But we're just going to roll with it. So we're going to make a card. We're going to do a little bit of coloring. And I also thought that today would be a really fun opportunity to talk with everybody about the different gray markers that are included in different alcohol markers. So I'm going to switch down just for a second, and you're going to see what I'm talking about with marker colors when we come to grays. So as you can see, I have 3 of the gargoyle images from this stamp set all stamped out, 2 of which are already colored up. And let's see, can we zoom in just a little bit? There we go. That works. That's a little bit better. So what we're going to be doing is going through, I'm going to talk about the 2 that I've colored up already, and we're going to color up this one together. Now, I colored up the leftmost gargoyle with cool gray markers. I colored up the middle gargoyle with warm gray markers. So you can really see quite the difference. Am I being 100% true to character? No, probably not. I know that I could probably introduce a little bit more blue with this one and maybe a little bit more red with this one to make them a little bit more appropriate. However, I thought this was a good opportunity to just sort of compare what the different colors of gray markers sort of look like. And then what we're going to get into as well is we're going to color up this guy, and we're going to use some toner gray markers. So you're going to kind of get the whole spectrum of things to see how everything works. And then, oh, you guys are so sweet. It's a really good set. I'm really excited to use it. It's been out for a little bit of time. I think it came out at least last year, if not the year before, but I'm getting a little rusty when it comes to knowing exactly when sets come out if I don't have landmarks or if I didn't work with them. And that's okay. You know, we don't need to know exactly when every single piece of product came out with. We just need to remember that we have it and use it when we want. So, all right, so we're going to put a piece of paper down, and then let's get into a little bit of alcohol marker coloring. So what I also did with each of these characters is each of them are colored up with basically the exact same color scheme. So we used the 7, 5, 3, and 1. So cool grays 7, 5, 3, and 1, warm grays 7, 5, 3, and 1, and this guy is going to be colored up with toner grays 7, 5, 3, and 1. So let's get into coloring him up. Now, one thing I'm going to point out that I'm doing a little bit different, and I don't really know why it worked out this way. It might be because they're gray and also monochromatic. I am also only going to be coloring up these guys once. It worked fine for these two images. I was in a little bit of a hurry and I'm like, I wonder if I could get away with just doing it once. You know what? By golly. Ooh, we got to turn that off. Sorry about that. There we go. It works really nicely with these images that I can get away with coloring them just one time. So we're going to go in, let's see, just kind of adding in that shadow in his little nostrils, under his teeth. Ooh, y'all, I tell ya, I've got a spread of weekend plans that are coming up. I am actually very lucky because Miss Boss Lady Audra is coming to the Chicagoland area next week for the Schaumburg Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. So I know Christian might be there on Saturday, but we've got our Kindred Playdate on Sunday, and I know I'll be seeing Christian there. So I'm really excited for that. But if you guys are in the area of the Chicago suburbs, or maybe southern Wisconsin, even northwest Indiana, consider coming by and saying hi. Audra always has fun products at the booth. I'm also going to say, I don't know officially, but there's usually at least one or two, if not more, products at the booth at like expos and events that are not on our actual website yet or ever. So it's a great opportunity to stop by, and I hope I get to meet some new Kindred friends and see some familiar faces. That's always exciting too. All right, so just kind of going in and adding that shadow. We are going to have fun. I'm so excited for her to come in. I know she says woohoo, so who knows? I don't know. Do you guys think that we need to do a live stream when Audra's at my house? I don't know. We might have to do it. She's going to see my mess of a setup. It's a very like organized chaos, if I do say so myself. It's hard though to do a live stream and to have everything super neat and orderly. Like I've even gone and seen some more professional live stream setups, and there's always a lot more going on than you'd think about. So, see, Carrie says, yes, we might have to do it, Audra. We might have to do it. We might be coming live from my home with Audra to do a live. My goodness. All right. A live hot mess crafting, I think. What do you think? All right, so I'm just kind of going in. Now, this image doesn't really get super pretty until like the last color or two. You can show me your cool setup and maybe I'll do more. Hey, I'll gladly enable you. I'll tell y'all what was kind of been a game changer for my crafting for doing live streams is I had this idea a couple months ago that I needed to get a desktop for my crafting island. And I was like, I want a desktop to make it easier to kind of control my live stream setups because I was using my laptop before and I just felt like it took up a little bit too much space, and I wanted something that was like a little bit more just designated for it. And I got a really great deal at Best Buy on a open box iMac, and it has been wonderful. So I've been very happy with that. Like I'm talking like got it like 50% off, and have had no issues with it. All right, there we go. Even if you just get her on camera to say howdy, hey, I think we could probably work with that. I think that's doable. All right, we got our T3 next. I've also got to hook up my new camera. I have not done that yet. I tried once right before one of my own live streams. I started to have camera issues like immediately, and I kind of freaked myself out. And so I'm like, no. So now I'm just keeping my existing camera plugged in, knowing I'm like, no, we need to still upgrade, Justin. We're not going to return that camera. So that'll come soon too. All right. There we go with that. It's a really cute set, Carrie. Hey, and I know that Carrie always falls victim to accidentally needing to make a purchase after Justin goes live. But Carrie, it's your birthday, so feel free to make that purchase with no guilt today. Even with whatever you need. Of course, a Kindred Stamps purchase is always wonderful, but who knows what new tool you might find you need today. All right, so going like that. Just kind of keep on coloring. And you can start to see that this has some warmth to it, but not as much red as that center gargoyle has. I was so happy that when this set came out that these characters were going to be included, because these were like my must-haves with them. Y'all know the stories of whenever Audra comes up with the stamp set idea, I'm always the person who's like, yeah, but can we add these characters to the set? And she's like, how many characters? And I'm like, enough. It's never a set number. There's one set that we are working on right now without giving too much away. She should probably know what it is. And she had mentioned to me about it. And I was like, oh, we need more characters. And she's like, how many more? And then I thought about it. I'm like, that's too many characters. We can't do that. And I even talked myself down because I'm like, this is taking a small set and turning it into a huge set. You know what though, Christian? I don't, my face forward camera is my iMac. That's my face camera. I don't have one that's like a DSLR, but I'm thinking about my overhead camera because it's actually designed for like vlogging. I might turn it into my front facing camera, but I also don't think I have any current issues with my current iMac camera. So I'm like, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, so going in, blending all that up. And as you can see, I'm really getting away with only having to color this one time, which is great. Add-ons. Hey, maybe we shall celebrate occasion. Everyone can automatically see 15% if they order the stamp set today. Audra, that's a really nice idea. I don't know. Let us, is that the details? You add this to your cart and you get the set for 15% off. That's incredibly nice. I like when Audra's here. We can talk her into little extra deals. Carrie says, okay, yes. Oh my goodness. All right, just kind of go in, making sure this is blending nicely, which it is. And then y'all are going to have to listen to me chit chat as I fussy cut all these out. And that's okay. There we go. All right, now we are going to add a little bit of detail to this guy as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my T7 marker and I'm going to add, you can call them spots, you can call them freckles. I'm just going to kind of go in and just sort of add some dots close to the shadow lines. I don't want them to go too far into the light area. I'm just going to add a couple just to sort of make this look like speckled rock. Just like that. All right. And then we're going to go in with some T5 and do another one. Just another set of some spots. All right, just kind of going in. My head would be in the camera. You know what, Amy? I sort of struggle with it. I feel like my coloring is never as good as the when I'm like directly over it like that, but I don't know. I guess I've just sort of learned. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky too. You have purchased from a couple lives, Carrie. That's for darn certain. All right, we're going to use some Sakura Jelly Roll number 10 and just sort of add some white dots. Not too many. I never like to go overboard. You can always add more, but you can't really take them off. Just sort of like that. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna let that dry and I'm gonna put my markers away. And now we've got all three of our little stone fellas all blended up. Where are my scissors? Here they are. Gotta put my tweezers away too, my goodness. Not lucky of putting the hours of, oh, you're so kind, Amy, thank you. Y'all listen. This is one of my things that I talk about. If you ever see me in person, because I have some people that I've met live, and I always like to talk about like this one specific story, is that there was a person that I had met, and like I mean this with all the respect in the world, not trying to be rude or snarky, because I would never approach someone with that. But I was at an event and someone came up to me, and this was in question about my coloring, and they told me like, Justin, I just don't understand. My coloring does not look like yours. And I'm like, okay. And I remember, I'm like, well, take me over to where you're working and let me see what you're working with. And I went over there, and this person was coloring on paper that was just like random store-bought paper. There was not like a thought behind it. And I mean that, I don't mean that rudely. Some people just don't know yet, you know? Like you've got to really kind of put in the education hours to really sort of learn about product and learn that different papers work for different things, and that we can buy super expensive cardstocks that work really well for our die cutting but can be absolute garbage if we wanted to color with our alcohol markers on them, and then vice versa. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, she wanted to color up like human characters. I'm like, well, show me like your skin blend. What markers do you have? And I have like my go-to skin blend. And my go-to skin blend is like, I think it's 6 markers plus blush, which can be another 2. And she had 2 markers of my go-to and like no other real potential substitutes. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, well, show me your ink. And then she showed me her ink, and her ink was not alcohol marker safe. And I was like, okay, I'm like, so we're going to kind of break this down into a couple things. And so I talked through everything. I'm like, listen, I'm like, first, I'm like, you got to make sure that the tools you're working with are, of course, being in budget is appropriate. We are all working with different wallets and different resources. I'm like, but you really want to make sure that you are operating with paper that is designed or proven to work well with alcohol marker inks. I'm like, you want to make sure that when you're coloring that you're doing at least, I recommend when we color, if you really want to get good detail, you should be doing at least a 3-color blend with your markers. I know some people can kind of get away with 2, but I think you've got to be a little on the seasoned side to understand how that works. And by seasoned, I mean you can't be a novice. You got to have a little bit of practice with it. But then I also just talked about too, it's like, you got to practice. You got to practice. You got to practice. I'm like, every time I color an image, I'm like, it's practice. I'm like, and I'm at a point where I'm like, please don't feel like you have to immediately compare yourself to me. I'm like, I've put at this point thousands of hours into just coloring alone. And like I said, this isn't a brag. It's just like, you got to remember, like when you put the time in, you see the results. We've all got to work through it, you know? Oh, hello, Amy. Thanks for being here. It is going to be a fun card tonight. So I just always remind people, you got to put the time in, and you can't expect to have immediate results overnight. And learn from when you do something. If like something doesn't turn out right, think about what didn't turn out. Think about why it didn't turn out, or try to figure it out, because you are probably going to learn from that. And I've learned in most things in life, not just crafting, but I learn the most from when I make a mistake, as opposed to when I like happen to get it right the first time. Because usually I'll remember the mistake that I made, like, okay, like, remember, you can't do this. Like, remember, if you're going to blend a background, do your light colors first, not your dark colors, because you don't want to accidentally blend your like inks and like get that cross contamination. Like it's easier to go from a light color to a dark color when ink blending, as opposed to going the reverse. You know, things you learn about and what it might do to your tools, or what it might do to the piece you're working on, all those things. Yes, the only way you learn is color by practicing and making failures. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's why I tell people, just practice, 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 and it's going to take time. Take advantage of coloring tutorial videos, or like, not to put myself on a pedestal, but it's not just me. Anytime we do like a live stream or we do a coloring video, like watch them, like take note of the colors that we're using. I always, whenever I go to an in-person event, I usually am able to always convert at least one person, if not more, to consider the ink that I use for my alcohol marker blending. Because I'm like, I've tested this. This is why I like it. And a lot of time people are like, okay, I see what you're talking about. And it just comes from practice. I have bought so many alcohol marker safe inks and they all work different. Doesn't mean like they don't work, but I need to find the one that works best for me. So, no, thank you guys so much. You're so sweet. I can't believe how long I've been doing these videos, you know? Just so much. All right, so we're going to cut out this guy and that'll be the last one. And like I said, not trying to have like this soapbox moment, because like I'm still constantly learning too. And I watch other creators' live streams and their videos, and I try to curate a list of accounts to follow that like, so I can learn from them and be like constantly inspired, you know? It's also hard too to live in a world where it's like you can come up with like a constant like brand new innovative idea. Because it's like, if you think about it, like the card that we're making tonight, I know if I haven't done, I know I've done something similar to this sort of previously, but I know that there are probably hundreds of designers out there who have done sunset ink blends before and have made a scene card, and that's okay. Sometimes you just got to find the right person to talk you through it, or maybe you're going to pick up a new hint or tip. I don't know. Stay tuned. Trying to fill in some chat time too while we're getting all this cut out. Yes, we absolutely. Creative play and learning through it. Absolutely, Amy. And like, it's not just about being like a design team member and like customers learning from it. Like, I have learned a lot just from like being on a design team and interacting with like the Kindred Stamps fan club and like seeing what everyone comes up with. And people have made some really fun projects, and I see some cool coloring palettes. I don't know, maybe what I need to do in the future is maybe we'll do a live stream where like I will of course talk to someone in advance, but like use a card from someone who posts it in the design or in the fan club and put like my spin on it, you know, like what they did and how I would put it on my card. What is that noise? That sounded like a bug. I'm not here for that during a live stream today. We don't need this. All right, almost there. All right, we've got our 3 little stone friends all cut out. I've also really been trying to, that when I do my live streams for Kindred, that we're using more than one character. So I'm really excited to use all 3 of these today. So, all right, let's talk about what we're going to do for our scene. So the first thing is we're going to work on this background, and then I have a couple different cuts of paper that I've made using these 2 I used from the Card Basics set, where I actually took a piece of paper and I die cut it twice from the largest stitched rectangle. And we are going to use these together, and we are going to make a cathedral kind of like this. We're going to figure out a way to make it work. And then I also have this brown piece, which is from the box card die set. And I think it's just going to add like a nice little like alcove, whatever the word I'm looking for is, that we can put over here just to sort of add a little bit of scene building. And then this is going to be our sunset over here. And then we are going to line up our little guys, our little stone friends just on the ledge. But we've got some ink blending to get there. So let's talk about nighttime sunset blends. So what you're always going to want to think about is where you're starting and where you're ending. And what's kind of interesting is that nighttime blends, oddly enough, both kind of start and end with blue. So you got to figure, like, do you want to start and end with blue, go from like a light blue and then ombre it up to like a dark navy? Or do you want to go in another direction? And we're going to do another direction. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some yellow. And I've got a 5-color blend that we're going to do. So we'll put these off to the side and we'll do some ink blending together. Where did I put, oh, there they are. I'm like, where did I put my little gargoyles? All right. So we're going to take some shooting star. Let's zoom out just a little bit. I have to get a remote control soon. And we're going to take this and we're just going to take our shooting star ink and blend it like that. So we'll get some yellow. Now you want to add enough. You want it to be nice and smooth. One thing I didn't do is tap off excess. So I'm just going to kind of build this up to add to the blend. And a lot of what's over here is going to get covered up. Hello, Kristen. No worries on being late. Thanks for being here. All right. So we've got our shooting star. I'm going to keep that tool out. And then the next color we're going to move on to is Guppy. I feel like I need to get some ink pad holders for my Stellar inks because I've been using them quite a bit. All right, so we're going to go in and blend like that. And blend that Guppy into the shooting star. For a second, I thought that looked dark, and I was like, absolutely not. We're not making mistakes right now. All right, so just kind of keep blending, bringing that Guppy into the shooting star. Now, a lot of this is going to get covered up, and I'm okay with that. It happens. I think a lot of times when you do your scene building, you do kind of have to cover up some of your ink blending, and I think that's totally okay. Because I think you're wanting to create a scene. Your scene can't just be a background. There's got to be elements. They all have to be interacting with each other. All right, so let's see. That's pretty. All right. And I love these medium blending brushes from Simon Hurley Create. They are wonderful. Silicone matte, it does hold it in place, absolutely. I'm not very good with like doing those sorts of things. I'm like, you know what? Let me just put it down with my fingers, and then I usually get an ink smudge. But Christian, you're 1000% correct. That would help. All right, so this is Prom Queen, and I don't know what happened, but this one's being a little finicky and giving me some harsh lines, but we'll work with it. Just kind of blend that up. I also think this might be in need of a good old spa day sometime soon. All right, so just kind of keep blending. Don't love those marks. And keep going. And then let me go in with a little bit of that Guppy. Just like that. And the other thing that Justin does is he spits when he talks, and then he gets watermarks onto his panels. So apologies in advance. All right. Perfect. You know what? Not like perfect, but manageable. All right, next we're gonna go in with some Crown Me. Oh, you know what? Christian, if you're talking about silicone matte for these ink pads, that would also be very helpful. Let's do a little bit of wiping because I'm using a couple different colors that could cross-contaminate. All right. Do just a little wiping. There we go. Just add some texture. There you go. Then I got Carrie. He used one on the last live. Carrie, you're wonderful. All right, we're gonna go in with that Crown Me. And we're definitely going to be adding some texture in. So stay tuned. Anything that doesn't look like a super smooth blend doesn't matter. We'll be good. We need acrylic block. Just like that. Just keep blending. Do you like Stellar or Distress better? Kristen, it just sort of depends. I'm kind of going through a Stellar phase at the moment, but I go through phases with a lot of my inks that I love. And I always find my way back to Distress, you know, at some point. They're wonderful inks, but what I love about my Stellar inks is something very similar to what I love about my Catherine Pooler inks, and that is they're so vibrant, and I love that. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still get a wonderful blend using your Distress inks. Like, I could be doing like mustard seed, carved pumpkin, picked raspberry, wilted violet, and chipped sapphire and get a really nice blend. I don't know if it would be as vibrant, but I don't know. So I've just kind of been leaning into it lately. Both are great investments. All right, so we've got that. Now let's finish this off with some midnight snack. I should put away my ink brushes as I no longer need some of them. There we go. There we go. All right. Just sort of blend this. I do want to make sure that this midnight snack comes across as the darkest color. Just because it should be for a sky blend. Just like that. A midnight snack right about now. Yes, but that would mean that it's midnight, Amy, and I need a couple more hours in my day before we get there. So I could just use a snack. Not a midnight snack, just a snack. Actually, my husband's in the kitchen right now getting the oven preheated for my post live stream meal. We have, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the pasta brand Rana, R-A-N-A, but we've recently discovered that they have like refrigerated lasagnas that you can just pop in the oven and they cook in like 30 minutes. For something pre-made and not coming like directly from like a restaurant, they're pretty solid. So we make them with like a salad and breadsticks, and you know what? I take it. I think it sounds fun. I don't know what that is. I just got a weird text message. I don't know what that's from. Oh, now I know who it's from. And my father-in-law sent me a message, but his number is not saved on my computer. All right, so we're gonna blend that up. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I probably could go in with a little bit more pink, just using residual Prom Queen ink, but that's pretty good. All right, let's put these away. Oop, there we go. All right. These things can get put to the side. My after school snack, even during the summer when we are in school. That's okay, Amy. Sounds delightful, I'll tell you that much. All right, so let's do a little bit of water just to sort of bleach this a little bit. And then I'm probably gonna grab my splatter box because I'm gonna need it. Now I do love that Stellar inks are so water reactive. Like they're kind of crazy water reactive. I think that's enough. Doesn't it really like lighten it up? Just add some really fun spots. These colors are great. And yes, super vivid. I'm a huge proponent for these Stellar inks. They're just so fun. All right, let me grab my splatter box up here. Put this up here. All right, I'll put that in there. Now, first we're going to do some white acrylic paint. So I'm going to just do a little bit of that on my glass mat. It's a little more than I bargained for, but that's okay. Then we're going to wet it a little bit. Then we're going to take a clean watercolor brush. Are there two Amy's? Yes. So we've got you, Amy, and then we've got Amy. And if I'm mispronouncing your last name, Yulen, U-L-E-N. She's one of our design team members. You both are in the audience today. So if I keep seeing Amy and Indiana Amy doesn't think that she said anything, it's because I'm talking to Washington Amy. All right, so just kind of splattering just to get some stars in the sky. That's a better way to get them, because otherwise you get the streaky ones, and I don't always like those. We got double Amy's tonight. All right, and then I gotta grab some wipes, just because I don't need to get paint everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of wipe that up real quickly. You spelled your own name wrong. That's okay. I was trying to find a way to like designate names because I believe Amy, Indiana Amy, your last name I think is Barry, correct? But I didn't remember 100% if that was your last name. So I'm like, I know she lives in Indiana. I'm like, so I know I could use that as like a sort of descriptor, but I don't know. I think on the fly over here. All right, next we're gonna do some Glitz Shimmer by Catherine Pooler Designs. Just a couple little drops. And this is just to get some gold sparkle stars in the sky. There we go. Will other Amy be at the Schaumburg Playdate? I don't think Amy Yulin or Washington Amy will be at the Playdate. She lives quite far from Schaumburg, but I don't want to speak for her, but that's okay. I'm assuming the answer is no. All right, so we're gonna wipe this up. We're gonna take my splatter box. Oh, that's pretty. And then that go on the ground for now. Here we go. We've got our background kind of all ready. That's really pretty. I think it's going to work really nicely. We've got those sunset colors going. You can't really see any of the imperfections from when we were blending because we added so much to this. So we'll set that aside. And then let's work on some more ink blending. So I'm going to start with, I don't know if I'm going to need this ink, but we're going to try it. This is Cookie Dough Stellar ink, and I've not used it before. So we're going to see how this interacts. Well, you know what? That actually works really nicely. So we're going to kind of layer our ink. So we're going to do some cookie dough first. I'm just going to kind of go in, distress the bottom. Ooh, a Star Trek convention in Vegas. You know what, Amy? That sounds super fun. Just don't melt. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine how warm it is there right now. My husband had a work event there last summer. He went in June, and people had to be bussed from event to event there. And like sometimes they had to wait in parking lots, like outside. And he said some people were fainting. And I'm like, ooh, no, thank you. No, thank you. All right, so just kind of keep going in. I'm so excited that you're going to be there, Christian. Of course, Amy, we would wish you would be there too, but distance-wise, you got a lot going on. That's our oven. All right. Got that. So we've got that for now. Now I'm going to work on the second piece to blend. No plans on leaving the hotel once you arrive. Amy, I'm so curious, where are you staying? There's so many fantastic options in Vegas. All right, just gonna keep blending. Yes, Amy and Christian will get to meet. That'll be fun. It'll be a good time. I'm excited. And I'm really just trying to add, this is Almond cardstock, and I'm adding this cookie dough ink just to really get a nice like agedness going. At the Rio, you know what? I've heard, and I don't know if they still have it. I have heard that the Rio is supposed to have a really good buffet. Now, I don't know if I heard that too long ago and they don't have one anymore, because I kind of feel like Vegas has gone away from like the buffets, but like I love a good buffet. And I've always been really curious too about the Rio, because I know it's like not like technically designated on the strip, but it's so close to everything that I've considered it before, you know? All right. Let's see. So if this is like over here, we got to still do a little up there. Got it. Just don't want to do everything. So you don't got to. Don't waste the ink and the time. All right. Kind of blending in. I actually really like this cookie dough color, surprisingly. I had my doubts. All right. So we've got that. This will go like over here. Perfect. All right. Let's do a little bit more blending. So next I'm going to pull in some Weeping Willow. Tap off the excess and then just sort of blend it to make the edge a little darker. Ugh. I am looking forward. So I've got a lot of weekend stuff coming up over the next couple weeks. I'll be excited once things slow down just a little bit. I have a lot of crafty deadlines to work through, so that's fun. After I retire, I'll have more time to go to the different crafting events. Any excuse to go to Chicago and see a Chicago Shakespeare play. We also, Amy, that sounds fun, because I know that we do have the Shakespeare Theater, or I forget what exactly it's called, but I know it's there. We get some really great theater in Chicago. I know that right now we've got Anne Juliet in the touring production, and Joey Fatone from NSYNC is in it. We usually don't get celebrities often with the touring. It's still good quality shows, but you don't get like the big names, and that's definitely one of them. My husband and I over 4th of July weekend also saw a show called Ice Boy, and it starred Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman, and that was not surprisingly, because like they're fantastic. We just didn't know what the show was about. The show was surprisingly pretty incredible, and I would highly recommend it to anyone potentially interested. All right, so we've got that and that. We're gonna work on this. We gotta do a little bit more ink blending. We're getting there. All right, so we're just gonna I'm gonna blend this, but I kind of have a hunch that I'm gonna have to go in with black, because this is a pretty dark brown. This is espresso. And I just wanna make sure that we've got a good ombre going. Oh my gosh, so much. Christian, I don't know about you, but like summers for me just always book up. And then like you are 100% correct. It's like summers get super busy, and then like all of a sudden summer's over and it's Halloween. So true. All right, just kind of keep blending. I think we need just a little bit of black. Not too much, but just enough. All right, there's this. And then blend that. Well, this ink pad is not super cooperative. That's okay. So we're just going to kind of go in, add a little bit of black to those edges. Just like that. Just to make them nice and dark. Awesome. Got that. Let's wipe this clean. And I just want to do like a quick comparison so you all can see. So this is the pieces of paper that we started with, kind of, so you can see the actual colors. But when you flip them over, you can see how our ink blending really sort of transforms them into something else. So let's go in and start kind of adhering this together. So what we're gonna do, like I said, this is just kind of like a random idea. I think that there's a little bit more detail I could add, but I always try to scale myself back just a little during a live stream because I don't want to get overly ambitious that we lose time or make everyone sort of sit with us. All right, let's see. So I'm going to kind of nudge this so that it's nicely aligned, just like that. All right, so we got that. And then I want to line this up. I think I'm going to do it kind of in the center. Just because when I double cut this, I got kind of like weird perforations on our rectangles. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to kind of avoid using those if we can. So I'm going to add that just to the bottom as straight across as I can. Just like that. Perfect. And then just kind of make sure to nudge it into place on the bottom. There we go. And then I'm going to take this little cutout, and we're going to kind of just add this sort of under as best as I can. So it's nice and level, just to sort of give this like a little bit of a peep out. That it looks like a little alcove or whatever you want to call it. Just like that. Okay. Awesome. I know this looks a little wild right now, but we're going somewhere. Question, how long do those blending brushes last? These? I haven't had any problems. I got these like immediately when they were released. That wasn't that long ago. I think it was sometime last year, and I've had them ever since. I haven't had any quality issues with them, Amy. I think that they're a fantastic investment. I am a kind of a junkie when it comes to blending brushes, and these are one of my favorite ones that I've purchased. And I love that I really haven't had to replace them. Might have to trim that one off manually. That's okay. Just like that. That's pretty nice. That kind of looks like a ledge. I think we're going to get it really soon, you know? I say, you know, that's like a hopeful, you know, not like a confident one. All right. Let's see if I can just sort of carefully. Just like that. Okay. So we've got our ledge. And then what we're going to do, I think it looks decent. You know what? For just combining a couple die cuts together and not really doing too much, like this makes sense. And what I want to do is we're going to do 1, 2, 3, just like on a ledge like that. And then I think I'm going to stamp the sentiment out on the bottom over here. I feel like we need something up there. We'll get there though. All right, so let's see. We're going to put this into our live stream. If you guys are just joining, make sure to take a moment to comment so I know that you're here to say hello. Oh my gosh, sister, I'm a teacher. You go back to work next week. Kristen, my goodness, my thoughts are with you. My sister-in-law goes back next week as well. All right, so there's Goyle's Night Out, which is of course obvious. But I was kind of thinking about doing a Sound the Marriage Bells. And I know that that would be a really good one for this guy. Obviously, he's the one that rings them, but they're all living in a bell tower. So we're going to put that one because I like it. So we'll do sound the marriage bells. And we'll get it nice and equal the best that we can. Line it up. That looks pretty good. It could be a little bit that way. Perfect. All right, we will move that down. And then I think I'm going to take some Weeping Willow ink for this one. You know what, though? Okay, so Kristen, with going back to work next week, does that mean that you are like in the classroom with students, or are you just getting the classroom ready? And of course, like having like preschool year meetings and whatnot. Because I believe my sister-in-law, she has to report back next week, but she doesn't actually start with students until like August 12th. All right, there we go. This is true. Even closer to summer. The next summer. Oh my goodness. Well, Kristen, I hope you had a good summer. I know it all sort of even outs in the end that like teachers get their summers off, but they put in such long hours during the year, more than like a standard person with a 9 to 5. And then you get the people who aren't teachers. However, they get off of work at a more regular basis. So I hope your summer was spent well. Just meetings next week. Good, 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 good. All right. So let's see. Sound the marriage bells. See, it'd be cute if there was like a bell hanging in there, but there isn't. No, no, no. I don't need to talk to you right now. My phone thought I was talking to it, and that's not the case. All right, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Oop, don't go over water. My goodness. All right, let's get a little bit of foam strip action going on. Not too much, I don't think I need. Two. So, okay, so my husband and I are going to the movies tomorrow night. And we are seeing a certain movie that has come out just, you know what? I think I can talk about this movie because it's based on a book that's really old. Really old. It's Greek and really old. So I'm gonna, you know what, for the sake of kindred courtesy, I'm not gonna mention it, but it's Greek and it's real old. It's based off of a book. And it being out right now, you can see it in like special IMAX with 70 millimeter, which is like not a lot of movie theaters across the country have that. There's only like one in the like area in the Midwest that's like Chicago, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota. And it is the movie theater that's like 5 minutes from my house. So that's exciting. All right. So let's go in. Let's see. So we're seeing that tomorrow. So I'm excited about that because these tickets were very difficult to get. All right, so we're going to go in and do that one. And then we'll put this guy 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And then let's do this guy with his little horns. 1. All right, let's just get these all lined up. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to just add a little bit of sparkle with some embellishments. We're not going to go too crazy, but I think that'll kind of help fill that in just a little bit. I'm very excited to see it. You guys said LOL to something. I wonder what I said. Was it the Kindred courtesy of not saying it? It's okay. All right, we're just going to kind of keep going. Now, don't forget, almost all the products used tonight are linked down below. So if you guys are so inspired to make a purchase, you can go snag whatever you've seen. All right, let's see. So we got our... Actually, that's really cute. And I do think that this gives like scenery vibes. I know it's not like a professionally designed die cut that is like intended to be a cathedral, but we're working with what we got. You know, we're getting creative. We're combining the dies that we have on hand. Your argument. Oh, well, that's just me sitting here. Thankful y'all are here, so I'm not officially talking to myself, but sometimes it feels that way. All right, so we're going to go in and then have that down. Perfect. Trying to be very careful. Thank you so much, Amy. You should go shopping. It's my birthday, and I say do it. You heard the birthday girl. Go shopping. All right. We've got the layout of our card. And I think we just need to add a couple embellishments. What do I want to do? Do I want to do enamel dots? I don't want to do those enamel dots. I'm kind of like falling out of enamel dots at the moment, where it's like I would rather play around with sequins, but let's pull out my embellishment tray. Let's see, what do we want to do? Let's do, I want to do silver. What should we do? Why would I pull green? No, I don't want orange either. Purple, no. We'll go with this color. We'll go with some bronze sparkle spots. I think that'll be fun. Because I think it'll pull in the colors of the building. We're only going to add a couple. Not too many. All right. Let's see. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Shopping and an adult beverage. Love that, Carrie. Love, love, love. All right. Do 1, 2, 3. Grab my pickup stick. One. Two. Potential spam. No, thank you. 1, 2, 3. And let's do... what do I want to do? One, two. That's not my cap. Why am I putting it there? Anyways, all right. You never want to do too many sparkles, Krista. It's always a thing, you know. You want to kind of be mindful, but I do it myself where I'm just like, why did I add too many? And I try to operate when I craft that less is more, because I can always go back and add some. You know, you can't really take them off. I feel like I need just a couple like over here. So let's do 2 more. I don't like it there though. I was gonna do some like right here because I feel like there's kind of an openness. So maybe we'll do like there and there. Oh, I don't really have too much of a procedure when it comes to sparkles. I just like to add them. Just like that. That's pretty. Just a little bit of sparkle. Oh, how fun, Amy. I hope you win a ribbon. You deserve a ribbon. Tell them you deserve a purple ribbon, even if it's not blue. I think it's supposed to be blue at the fair, but purple. Say you want it purple. That's my 2 cents. Oh, thank you so much, Carrie. All right. I think we're all done. Yay. This card did not take too long to prep and create. And I know I had two of our little stone friends ready before we went live, but I'm going to be honest, they took me maybe 15 minutes to color up. So I'm glad I did it off camera to save you all the time, but I think that this works. It's a fun little, what I like to call like a partial scene where it's like you can clearly tell that they are like on a ledge, and I just think it's fun. I think we had a really fun time doing our sunset background. I also love that we're able to see the differences between the different types of gray markers. Oh, Amy just bought some purple tennis shoes. Good for you. That sounds fun. I need to get some new tennis shoes or just good old shoes. But I have my current shoe company that I like to use has a real weird situation that just went on. I've bought Allbirds shoes for the last handful of years, and they've recently decided they no longer want to be a shoe company and they want to make like technology. And I'm just like, what do I do with getting the shoes? And I'm like, guess I'm gonna have to go somewhere else and I'll figure it out. Okay, purple ribbons are champion ribbons. Ooh, you definitely deserve a purple ribbon then, Amy. 100%. So, all right, y'all. So here we go. Final card using our Tower Troupe stamp set. And we also combine dies from our card basics set and our box card die set. That's where I got this fun little embellishment one from. And I think that it came together to really make something fun. I also think, because I did this as a top fold card, I think if you had a piece of acetate, that you could really make this a fun top folding card and put like the sunset sky on the inside so that it was like see-through. I think that would be really fun. Hey, you do you, whatever works. I don't do a lot of cards like that. So let's go back to my face for a second. And here we go. All right, y'all. So this was my last live stream for July. So I think it turned out super, super cute. And I know we had fun. What was the other card we made? Was the Summer Wing card? The Summer Wing card was this month. That was the box card that we did live. And that was this one. I love this card. I think it's super fun and cute. So anyways, I had so much fun creating with you guys tonight and all month long. I will, of course, be back next month. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like, but you never know. I try my best to get that calendar posted up in the fan club by at least the second or third of the month. I always aim for the first. If the first doesn't happen, the second and third is fine, as long as we don't have an important date on the first or the second. Anyways, Schaumburg friends that are near Schaumburg, Illinois, do not forget that we will be at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo in Schaumburg, August 7th and 8th. So that's Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, August 9th, we will be doing our play date in the Schaumburg area. So if you're in the area for the expo and staying, or you live nearby, we would love, love, love to craft with you. I think there might still be a couple spots available, but being honest, if they're sold out right now, I wouldn't be surprised because I have not checked inventory on them lately, but I believe it's $49. It includes your spot at a designated table for the day. It includes lunch. We have so much fun. I'm near certain Audra's going to bring back some raffles. She always loves to do her raffles. So, oh my goodness. You guys are all so sweet. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for listening to my chit-chatting. If you guys haven't yet already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Kindred Stamps YouTube channel for future card making inspiration, and so that you don't miss a live in the future. We greatly appreciate all of your love and support. Thank you, everyone. Everything is linked down in the comments below. So if you are looking to snag any of the products that I've used tonight, go ahead and check that out. And yeah. So much love sent your way. I appreciate everyone. I hope that if you're in a spot that's got questionable weather today, that you stay safe, that everything is okay. And for those of us who are dealing with crazy heat right now, stay cool, friends. Especially you, Amy, going to Vegas. Oh my goodness. I'm happy to hear that you're not going to be spending too much time outside, because oh, no thanks. And then I'm sure my next live I'll also have product in my hair. I didn't take my normal morning shower today because my schedule was off, so no product this morning. That's okay. I still made a card and it turned out cute. So anyways, thank you so much everyone for stopping by. Appreciate you all, and I will see you again next month. Goodbye.